everyone, today I decided to take on the new Joy Ang drawing challenge that Frozen Gem, linked to her channel in the description, started. The challenge is where we try to draw ROCs in the style of Joy Ang, who drew all of the Wings of Fire covers. Now, all credit goes to the spectacularly skilled Joy Ang for making such inspiring art in the first place. This is not something I will ever sell, and I have no intent on plagiarizing her style whatsoever. I just wanted to see if I could replicate a realistic dragon, as the standards of such are practically her style. Joy Ang, if you are somehow watching this and disapprove, I have an email in my description for you if you need me to take this down for any reason at all. Otherwise, this has been an incredibly helpful learning experience in digital painting for me. Don't know if you could tell, but that was obviously very scripted. I am not good at voiceovers at all, so I'm going to try to go freehand with purely bullet points at this point forward. I'm going to try my best not to mess up, but I've already redone the intro about a gazillion times. We'll see how this goes. I'm not very natural at this, so just bear with me. I'm going to be doing my best. So I'm doing my OC, Jasmine, and she is after my OC. I don't actually have a Wings of Fire OC. I haven't had one in a long time. This is my only one, and you can see her in the corner of my painting that I'm referencing. I just recently drew her, and she is based off of my Roblox character that I just colored to kind of match Wahalu at the beginning, and then completely went crazy and just made it a completely different character. And then I actually said, oh, well, might as well actually make this an OC. So I drew her, and I have about 2 drawings of her so far, one in my sketchbook and one right there. Now I have 3, obviously, but I think it was fitting to actually do something with her, since I am more into Wings of Fire and somewhat classified as a Wings of Fire YouTuber, or hopefully I am. I mean, I do a lot of Wings of Fire stuff, and I've been working on so many Wings of Fire projects lately, oh my goodness. But anyways, so as you saw before, I start with a really rough sketch of me just trying to get a basic outline of what I'm gonna draw and the positioning and how to get the style down for Joy Ang's RainWings. And it was really difficult, especially with the jaw. I adjusted it multiple times, and I still think even in the final product it did turn out a little too short. But I'm still very, very happy with the turnout of this. Anyways, so the body anatomy was also strangely difficult. Her RainWings have an incredibly long neck, and I don't usually do that, so I did shorten Jasmine's neck just a tad, because I don't think that it would fit a headshot. It would just look kind of off to have a giant long neck just snaking down out of the picture. It would just be a little disorient. Oh my gosh, I can't say the word. Anyway, yeah, I have a cold. I've had this cold for months, so you're gonna hear me and I'm sorry. But, anyways, this was a very daunting task, and I wanted to get emotion in this. Jasmine is a very happy, loud character, and I couldn't really express that in Joy Ang style since it's so realistic, and you can't really put in much emotion without it looking weird. I don't know how to do a really good dragon smile. Even Kibley's portrait for his book cover, I think he's trying to smile, but it just doesn't look like it to me, and she always has open mouths, so I figured I should probably have an open mouth, even though that's not really like Jasmine, but I wanted to go more with what Joy Ang usually does, so I have her laughing or roaring or whatnot, but I can't really capture much emotion, and her eyes just look a little dull, and I think if she was looking at the camera it would have been a little better, but overall I'm pretty satisfied with the expression. I think it looks somewhat like Glory's, but it is different. I tried really hard not to just directly copy from one of the books. I wanted to just capture her style in a different position, so it's not just trying to copy one image, which proved very, very difficult. And I thought it was really fun to do anyways. I've learned so much from this, and I was studying how she did it so much. It's crazy. I noticed a lot of stuff, how the scales were drawn when I was looking at it. I don't think that she has lines and draws individual circles, and I really wish I could have told Frozen when she was on her stream, because as you can see here, she she drew every individual scale, and I feel so bad because that would be painstakingly awful, and I never want to do that. Instead, you'll see what I'll do in a few seconds here is I go on a separate layer and I draw the dots because I have a darker color as the base so that it will look lighter in the end because the scales are a lighter color in the first place. So what you're seeing now colored is the actual, the like lines, quote unquote, in between each scale. So then I went in and I did like little circles with the lighter color, and in some areas just went in with, like, after I finished that, I did some like lighter, I lowered the opacity in some areas with a transparent airbrush, so I turned the color to transparent, and then I went over some areas so that they were softer than other areas, and I think like I could have done overlay, but it just didn't. Like, the layer settings could have been overlay, but it didn't do much, so I think it was fine just as normal. And anyways, I'm really happy with how that looks. I think it turned out pretty realistic. I'm not sure if that's how Joyang actually does it. Hers in between like line scales look a little bit more defined, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's not how she did it. But I think it looks good either way, and I'm really happy with figuring out this technique. Now, one thing I really am confused about her style is it looks really painted, but in some areas it looks like she still has line art, and it's like kind of pencil-y, so it's not too like firm or hard. It's just like a darker, like lower opacity black in some areas, and I'm just so confused on how she goes from layer to layer. Does she even get rid of the line layer at any point? So for me, I'm always going from sketch then to a more defined lines, and that lines I will eventually merge with the color and go over and smooth out everywhere so the lines will not be there in the end. But I'm just so confused on how she does it. I try to replicate her kind of line-esque style in some areas, but it was really hard, and I think overall my style did merge more with the coloring technique than anything else, and so it's a lot more smooth and painted like than hers is, because hers does have definitions for lines. Like, it is defined by lines in a lot of areas, unlike mine. So that definitely is a difference. I think you can't really do this kind of thing without having some of your style shine through, which I think is so fun, and I really encourage you guys to not directly plagiarize like a style and just copy it and call it your own, but definitely mix and match. If you like something about one person's style, they've probably perfected anatomy, and it will definitely help you to take that anatomy and help mix it into your own style. That's how I've always developed my style. I look at people I admire and styles I love, and I go from there, mixing and matching and creating my own out of that. And I think it's a great way to start. I think because you can't automatically think, oh, that's how a wolf is drawn and that is where the legs go. You look at how other people draw it and how other people who draw like you develop their drawings. And I think it's not bad to mix and mash a lot of different ideas into one. But I don't think it's right necessarily to directly take someone's style. Like, say if I took Joyang's style right now and just completely copied everything, mastered everything she does, and completely sell my work to illustrators as her. I definitely think it's fine to draw dragons like she does sometimes, but I'm never gonna sell saying, get your OC drawn like Joyang for fun, cause like, yeah, I'll make money off of her style. Like, that's obviously wrong, but this is just for fun. This is for my own improvement and to teach you guys a little bit about digital painting and how I do it, because in the end I'm still using my program. I doubt she uses Medi. She probably used more like Adobe or something. This is me teaching you how I do it and how I paint, and I think how I came into painting was watching a YouTuber named Clockbirds, and I ate up every single tutorial she ever did, and I love her art still, even though she doesn't really use Medi anymore, but that's how I started. I looked at her, I loved how she painted, and I developed my own style out of that. So let me give you guys a little bit of ideas on how I start. So I start with the sketch, as you saw. It's very rough, it's getting measly proportions out there, and anatomy, and just basically blocking it in. I can fix it whenever, however, no matter how many layers it takes, it will get fixed, so don't worry about how messy it is, or if you don't like the anatomy, just go with it, adjust it, play with it, like do whatever you need to do with it, and then when it's ready, you think, to go on to a more refined sketch where you can add a lot more details, then I'll do that. If I'm really confident with the really messy sketch, like I did here, I'll go straight into the more defined, like, line layer, quote-unquote, that I do to, that I will end up using on the final color. So it's after this, I select the outside with the magic wand, and then I go to I go to, like, the top bar, and I go select, inverse, and I inverse that so it's only selected the dragon or the drawing or the drawing itself. And then I go into a layer underneath the lines and I color it according to that. And I just block in the colors, do whatever, and it's all good. Then I save a duplicate of the line just in case, and I merge it down into the color, and I go over everything with the flat brush, watercolor, wet brush, any of them. They all work great. Depending on if I'm doing fur, I might do the dry flat brush, which works great for giving some fur texture. And I go in and I blend according to the lighting. I might have done like some lighting above that before just to get a good idea of the environment. But here I wanted to end it at, I wanted to do that at the end so that I could have a more just blended, because she doesn't really do much shading. I just wanted to have like a normal just blended, realistic-ish kind of dragon as a base, and then from there do some shading at the end. But usually I might add some, like, I might change the layer to hard light, clip it with that little box on the right side, like that bar. If you go down to layers, clipping, I check that, and what that does is it makes it so you can only draw on the areas that have been drawn on the layers, on the layer below it. And what, that's so confusing, but pretty much, if say I have a circle, if I draw a circle, and then I want it to color on the circle, but I don't want it to be directly, say, on the drawing that the circle is on, I would go above the layer, like I would make a layer above it, then I would click clipping, and I can shade and blend and do whatever I need to on the circle, but it will only apply to the circle and no area outside of it, even though it's technically not on the same layer. If that makes sense. It's pretty much a protect alpha on the same layer. And protect alpha pretty much means you can't draw on anything but what has already been drawn, which is so helpful. Oh my goodness. So that's really awesome. And that's how I go with that. And so then I'm just blending a ton right here. It really is just me getting the darker shaded areas blocked in and the lighter areas more more prominent and just in the right area. It's not like, oh, I am so technical here. It's me going, oh, that's too harsh. I'm going to blend that in. There's nothing really technical about it. It's practice that will help. When I'm trying to blend it really like a larger area, I will make the brush larger and the opacity like less, and that will help blend it all together. These brushes, as long as you set it to big mixing level, they'll blend so well, and they're absolutely spectacular brushes. This is on computer. Medi does have an app on mobile, but I've never tried it, so I do not know if it's just as good as the computer program. As far as I know, they are both free. The computer one is free, and it has worked so well for years and years, and I absolutely adore this program. Programs for starting out artists I recommend. For painting, definitely Medi. It is superior to all other painting programs I have ever experienced. For free, this is the most amazing program I have ever experienced, and I love it so much. Sketchbook is where I grew up into digital art. I had it on my phone, and that's where I originally drew, but now you can also use it on computer, and you can animate there, though I have never tried. Sketchbook is great for so much stuff. If you guys know Rachel the RainWing, she uses Sketchbook Autodesk for computer, and she uses it so well, and like that's how she does her drawings. I don't know if that's how she uses her animations, but they're so amazing, and definitely recommend go checking out her channel if you haven't seen it. And that's the programs she uses. Procreate is amazing at painting, though. I've never used it. I've seen what it can do. Rye3 and Frozen Gem have both very, very much exemplified how amazing Procreate is, and a ton of other artists use it too. And it is wonderful for painting, and there's so many amazing brushes as far as I can see. I wish I had an iPad that I could do it on. I've always done Sketchbook on my phone, and there's some really great stylists that I've always used that I highly recommend. And I will link them in the description for the stylists that I've always used, and they're amazing. I am using a Wacom tablet, which the exact model is in the description in tools or basic stuff. There's a little section with how long this took, the tools I used, characters, blah blah blah, in every video, and you can always find all of that information. I even have what computer I'm using. But I use a Wacom drawing tablet, and it was not pricey at all. I think it was like around $99 or something, and this is only my second drawing tablet ever, and I use it about every day, so it is an incredibly well-made tablet. And I have this other one that I used for so long. It is now, like, it's not made anymore because I've had it for so long, and I used it every single day, and it worked so great. And so I highly recommend, if you're trying to get into computer drawing, get a Wacom. They're so good, and they're so worth the price. And like, yeah, they're epic. Okay, so that's pretty much for beginning artists. That's what I recommend. That's how you should start, and I'm so glad you are, like, ever trying to get into art and animation. Don't let anyone try to shatter your dreams. You're doing wonderful, and just even trying and going for it is such a huge thing. And motivation, the fact that you have the motivation to do it is so great. Now, I know a lot of people, including myself, have been going through art block lately, and I want to talk about improvement/motivation and where that comes from. For the longest time, well, technically I've only been animating for 2 years. I've been drawing for, like, digitally, like, 3-4 years. More like 3, like, not even that long. And, I got into it, and I was very full of myself. I was a silly, stupid kid, but, I was so happy with what I was doing, and I was encouraged by so many people, and I just felt like I was doing great. And it was that fact that I thought I was doing great, that I was doing well, and that my art was good, and I wasn't comparing myself, that I succeeded to improve pretty fast, and I was able to get into the community really fast and grow my channel and start animating and go from 0 to 60 on how many hours I spent on it. It was an incredible dedication that I had. I mean, I still have it, but it's not as crazy, but I was just kind of in a phase where I was just like, man, animation, yeah, let's go. And I thought I was doing great, and I mean, I was doing pretty good. I wasn't necessarily, like, the best artist at all. Like, I wasn't doing great. I mean, I wasn't a really good artist. That's not what I'm saying anyway. And my animations weren't smooth, but I was so motivated. I never lost motivation for any animation. I do now. A lot of the times, I finally just got out of art block, and I have insane motivation right now, and I'm just doing pretty good. But what stopped me was feeling like I wasn't good enough, that my art wasn't improving, and that I wasn't going to go anywhere, and my channel wasn't going anywhere. And that is what's stopping so many artists. If you want to improve, then just do it. You can't just sit around comparing yourself to others, because guess what? You are not that other person. Those other people are people who are drawing, maybe right now. And those are the people who are doing their best to work hard, and they're not looking at others and being like, man, I wish I was them. Instead, they're working. And I was like, one night I just was crying. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't feel like I'm gonna be able to do this. I don't feel good enough. And so I encourage you all to not look at others, to focus in on what you want to improve right now, why you want to improve it, and you can look at others and say, hey, I want to try that too, but don't tear yourself down. You are beautiful and your art is going to change the world. You're the only one who can create your art, and keep sharing it and keep being the wonderful person that you are in this world, because I love looking at all you guys' art. It's all so beautiful, and like, even if you just started, it has its own beauty because of how new it is and how strong and passionate you are about such a thing. Like, don't tear your art down. Do not compare. And you are doing so well. You're doing great. The fact that you're drawing, the fact that you are where you are, is an accomplishment in itself. So stop looking to others to compare yourself, and just draw what you want to draw. Draw what makes your heart sing. Don't feel pressured to draw what others want you to draw, and just have fun. That's what this is really about. Anyway, I'm sorry for my little rant. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my video. Yay! I went with a different, like a background like Glory's, because I didn't really know where else to put it. So yeah, she does kind of, I don't have a backstory for Jasmine, so I guess she lives in the rainforest. But anyway, thank you guys so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you guys stay motivated, stay amazing, and keep living. Stay safe, guys.
Whoa, dancing to